Good morning, friends. Ash here, WAT News, with a weather, stock, and news report. Today is February the 1st, 2021, Storm Edition. I am coming to you from snowy New York City, where we are in the midst of a big nor'easter storm here. And they're saying we could get buried in up to 2 feet of snow. Tyler Durden, Zero Hedge. Tens of millions of people across the Northeast are waking up Monday to 2021's first major snowstorm with up to 2 feet in whiteout conditions. And I can tell you right now in New York, it's pretty much whiteout. My visibility is about, I'd say, 2 blocks. Very high winds, cold. I would suggest that if you have nothing to do outside, don't go out. If you're in the Northeast Corridor, especially around New York. So we'll leave that there. There's multiple storms going on today. Tyler Durden's talking about America's trust in the mainstream media has hit an all-time low, and journalists are shocked. Well, I don't think we're that shocked, right? You could check this article out. I'm not going to go into too much detail. Basically, the trust in the press is gone, right? And now we've moved to alternate sources of news, and people even trying to just do their own news show like I'm doing because they got fed up with the process and they got fed up with the system. And why would I waste my time watching your program if you are lying to me, and I know you're lying to me and I could prove it, right? So we have the most shorted companies resume surge in pre-market. Tyler Durden, Zero Hedge again. Got a little checkup. I've been watching some of the smaller stocks. These are some of the smaller ones. These top 3 I'm watching here. I'll give them to you free. I'm not invested in any of these. I just watch. These are the ones I'm watching, especially Naked. Naked's been trading heavy. Again, I'm not invested in any of these stocks. I am not giving out financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just watching what's going down in the markets like you. So Naked's up 6 cents, 3% so far off the open. GameStop actually was down a bit, I think, last time I looked. Yeah, GameStop's at 311. It opened down 13. It seems like that people are going into the metals right now. Any of the mining stocks are starting to go up. I think this is one of the mining stocks. Let's see. Silver Trust up 287. Different mining stocks are going up. Also, they were talking about in Tyler Durden. Sorry, this is Global Intel Hub on Zero Hedge. Is Robinhood on the brink of collapse? For those of us who have seen this before, Robinhood is making moves eerily similar to financial institutions about to fold. Let's take a look at where we are. Robinhood is limiting withdrawals. Why? 2, Robinhood is not allowing customers to access statements. Why? 3, there is speculation, which is just speculation, that the AMC volume figures are off, especially compared with the different data points. Question the thread was asking is, do you really own AMC shares? The data sources are not important because data is anyway provided by brokers, exchanges, and other third-party sources. So if there was an off data set, it might not show up. But some traders have noticed that there is more positions in Robinhood, that it seems like there is volume in the stock. In other words, the buying of the stock at Robinhood is not showing up in the volume figures. Why? 4, Robinhood raised $1 billion from investors Thursday from existing investors. Why? According to the news, it was to meet regulatory requirements. The reported drawdown matches reporting from yesterday indicating that Robinhood had accessed 9 figures of capital to ensure it had enough funds on hand to meet regulatory minimums and other requirements related to its users' trading activity. 5. In the secondary market, a fairly large block of preferred shares is being offered at a high price, but will accept possibly 50% discount to the offer, unquote, which is a very unusual offer considering shares in the private market have risen from 22 to 65 in the last 60 days. 6. Robinhood is a self-clearing broker-dealer, a change made in 2018. Prior to that, they cleared through Apex Clearing, a $600 billion USD powerhouse. So this is a really long article, but it's starting to appear that, I had also read and heard that some people had had their shares sold without their permission by Robinhood, which is illegal. In other words, if I don't tell you to sell my stock, don't sell it. You're not allowed to unless it's a margin call. And that's part of the problem I was going to say with margin is that, so let's say you're a regular type investor, right? You go out on some margin, which is their loan, borrowing money at an interest rate, right, that they're loaning to you so you can buy more stock. Now that comes with its own dangers, obviously, right? If you invest in a certain stock on margin and then it goes down a certain level, you can get what's called a margin call, which is what you don't want as an investor, right? Because now, and that's what happened to these big hedge funds, they got a massive margin call because they had to add more liquidity into the system for themselves or they were going to go basically belly up. Now, with the push that's going on in the silver market, that's an even larger shorted market than just some of these individual stocks like GameStop and others, right? It's a massive market, and if you can put enough liquidity and get enough people buying into, then you could actually do some really hurt these people. I think that's what some people are talking about. We just checked the silver price. I saw it was up to, it hit 30 at one point this morning. It's now up over $3, over 30. It broke the support, way through the support. I don't even know where the support was. I think it was around 30. So now it's at $30.18 an ounce. Gold is up also in sympathy, 1878 up $20. Palladium up, platinum up. So platinum's been moving a little up too. Hasn't been at this level for a while that I've seen. Was hovering around 1,000 for a while. So you're seeing it happen. It's happening. It's the storm. It's the snowstorm. It's the financial storm. And you can see the mining stocks also are going up. This is out of also Zero Hedge, Tyler Durden. It's been nuts. Silver surges most since Lehman bankruptcy. Hit 7-year high over 30. So yeah, it broke it broke a major support level here, and who knows where it could go now, right? It's been kept down a very long time, and it seems like the powers that be, or just the regular investor groups, however you want to characterize it, it's just more investors. But if investors bind together, there's nothing illegal about a bunch of people buying certain commodities and stocks, right? If you remember back in the 90s with the pump and dump schemes, what that scheme was, the difference was, let's say I'm a clearinghouse broker and I decide I want to make a move, right? And I want to make a move on a certain commodity, right? Let's say it's a penny stock or something, right? Or a cheap stock. Like Naked, right? Let's say it's Naked, which is Naked brand, right? A lot of people buy a Naked brand. So I buy 1 million shares of Naked at a certain price. Then I go into a chat room, right? And I start saying, hey man, I like Naked. I think everybody should buy Naked. I love Naked. I'm in Naked. Whatever, right? I start pumping the stock Naked, and the stock starts to move. Now, if you're familiar, you saw the Wall Street and all these movies, right? Well, I used to know people that were in the market, brokers and yeah, you'd go into work, and sometimes the boss would say, hey man, we're pumping this stock today. This is the stock we want you selling to your people over the phone. I want you calling up your people, and I want you selling them Naked. And that's how they would, do it, right? And you'd push the stock price up, and then maybe they jump out, right? Maybe the big guys on the other side of that are jumped out because they've been bought it at a cheaper price or the low end. They're waiting for the pop, and they jump out. And then the stock starts to tank back to its original, price points, maybe over the next day or two, and you get burned because you're not in the know. And you got Naked turning to the negative now. So, yeah, you could make money if everybody's running in and out of stocks, but you got to know what stocks they're running in and out of, right? AMC up more again, right? So this was one of the stocks, AMC, that a lot of people were moving in and out of. You can see the volume here. It's trading pretty wide. I mean, it was as low as $2 and it's been as high as 20. Closed at 13.26. It's at 14.31. So another gain, right? Still moving to the upside. GameStop moving down today. People take us a profit out. But will it stay down all day? We'll see. Maybe it's going to come to a point and people will start jumping back in. It's obvious that people are moving back in and out of these stocks. You could day trade these now. You know, if you know people are moving in and out, and I'm not suggesting you do that. I always suggest you do your due diligence and you be very careful with anything you do with your money, right? Especially if you're a put and call kind of person. I never got involved in that game because unlimited loss and unlimited gain is not something I want to be messing around with, right? Yeah, it's great to have unlimited gain, but if you can also have unlimited loss, that means you could lose it all. And that's not my kind of game. I like to make the slower money and the more steady money, maybe day trade some of these and make a couple grand a day, whatever it is, and be happy with that. Of course, there's people making huge plays, you know, trying to put their life savings on a call of GameStop for, like, let's say a March call at a certain number, and you better pray it hits it, because if it don't, you're going to lose your whole shirt. So, you know, just be extremely careful, do your due diligence. A lot of this stuff is just informational, you know, information stuff. So we got silver surging, hits the 7-year high. Looks like it's going to be around $30. It's hovering at right now. Now, you know, there's all kinds of things you could buy, right? But what about if I could buy you, right? We talked about that, right? The human stock exchange. Calculate the value of your paper savings bonds, right? So there's people that are issuing savings bonds in your name from the moment that you're born. These bonds would start at the year 1980. Okay, so you can do a search for a different year. In the bond serial number part here, you would put your social security number with the dashes. Denomination's 10,000 and leave this alone. And start with any date from I think it's 1980 forward. And you'll see bonds there in your name, in your social security number, that are issued, and they're 30-year bonds that mature. So depending on your age, if you're 90, then you've gone through 3 cycles of 30-year bonds that they've issued in your name, which is a huge amount of money, because they do it every single month. So that's what the human stock exchange is. You're the commodity now. You've been commoditized. Your name is in caps because you've been capitalized, turned into the juice or money. Capital is money, a form of money, right? So you've been turned into the juice, and your number that you were given, that they know it's you, is your social security number and also your birth certificate number. If you put either one of those in the bond serial number part, and you put the date in and everything is filled out, you will see that there's bonds in your name. You can go buy them. You could buy your own bonds if you can figure out where they are, right? So I wanted to end the video with this last thing. I wanted to get back into, just for a quick second, Bill Gates and the mRNA vaccine, the Moderna, because here he's showing you how it's going to change your actual mRNA profile. It's going to change your DNA, in a sense. It's going to change the way you are made up as a human being. And if I can change the way that you are made up as a human being, can I patent you then? Because you're not human anymore. You're some other thing. You're a cyborg now, or you're some, you know, alternate human, whatever you want to call it, right? Changed in some way. So I just want to play this. It's not a long video, but it's Gates going into the race for a COVID-19 vaccine explained. So I don't know what date this is. It's on before it's news. So I'll just play it, and then I'll end the video probably, guys.
One final way that's new and is promising is called the RNA vaccine. With RNA and DNA, instead of putting that shape in You put instructions in the code to make that shape. You put instructions in the code to make that shape.
Everything that I'm about to mention is currently being developed by Bill Gates, often in partnership with the CV19 Playbook, MIT, all of which is backed by the United Nations and the Rockefeller Foundation. Due to ongoing mutations with CV19, the CV vaccine currently being developed will alter our DNA through an actual synthesizing of our individual genetic code using mRNA and CRISPR technology, which acts as scissors by cutting DNA at a designated spot and removing or inserting a new sequence with an artificial code to make sure every man, woman, and child complies with the One World Order's mandatory implementations. Gates and MIT are currently developing the Human Implantable Quantum Dot Microneedle Vaccination Delivery System. It's a tattoo for the hand, which will include our identification mark and vaccination records. It needs an enzyme called luciferase in order to make it work. The transhumanist agent on every person's hand will glow with the bioluminescence of the light bearer, a chip you cannot remove with a knife. This tracking system will alter your DNA, and it's permanent. 33rd degree Freemason and occultist Manly P. Hall once wrote, quote, "The seething energies of Lucifer are in his hands."
So this is urgent, and it's going to require incredible collaboration. It's going to have to go to 7 billion people.
So, I mean, there it is right there, right? And I covered this on my dig, the Quantum Dot Microneedle Delivery System. It's on my YouTube. You can go check it out. Luciferase, why would they name it that? Why would you name an enzyme that you could name anything? Why would you call it Luciferase, right? Because that's the mark of the beast that they wanted to put on you. That's the COVID ID. That's it right there. And once you have that mark on you, that's it. Because the CRISPR has cut out a section of your DNA and replaced it with some other thing which is that code that they want in there, right? That takes away your I think that what that does is it makes it so you can ascend to a higher levels of consciousness. It takes away that part of your connection somehow to the God source, or whatever you want to call it, right? Source itself, that gives us energies, that gives us our power, and that's why so many of these other species, I think, if there's aliens out there, and I think there are, they want our DNA so bad because we have a connection to the God source, and most of them don't, for some reason, because they are maybe not organic life forms. Maybe they're life forms that have somehow been altered in some way through these technologies, right? If I alter your DNA somehow, are you then a human being still? Or are you some other creature that I can now patent because I've changed you? And you've allowed that change through your free will. That's the thing. That's why you can't take this, because you got to willingly do it. You have to willingly allow them to put this mark onto your hands. And if you have free will, you don't have to do it. Your free will is your really last vestige of our small amount of freedom that we have, right? Our free will, we say no, we do not consent. So with that, friends, I'll end it here. I know it's kind of a stormy video. We'll watch the stocks, we'll watch the news, we'll see if, we'll keep an eye on the Senate trial, the impeachment trial when that comes up, I believe on the 8th. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for that and any more news. But for right now, I'll end this video, and I'll just say we'll keep an eye on the silver markets, the stocks, and we'll see if the last will be first and the first will be last, right? We've heard that saying before. Maybe that's coming true right before our eyes. So with that, friends, I hope you're well, hope you're healthy, stay in your center, working out, stretching, eating right. This is Ash, WAT News, signing off for now.